Okay, let's go live. James Maduke speaking. I've got an interesting kind of video for you today, and it's a follow-up from yesterday. So if you hadn't had a chance, make sure to go see the previous one, because it was all about being that first-time creator, someone who might be a little bit follically challenged, a little bit older, wanting to get started creating online courses and just having a lot of trouble struggling. Because at the end of this, well, actually at the start, I'm going to show you 3 ChatGPT prompts that anyone can use to get started creating their own online course, their own online tutorials. And we're going to do start with that, and then I'm going to kind of hopefully be able to answer the questions that a lot of people have when they're first getting started. Because when you get in front of the camera for the first time, or you record yourself for the first time, there's a whole bunch of things that happen that are really, really blocking or hard to overcome. And the first one is it's like you've got that unsure part of, is my value okay? Or do I have enough to say? Or will people even listen to me? And more importantly, who's going to listen to me? So there's a lot of homework and research that generally goes into trying to figure all that stuff out at the start. And if it's not done properly, what happens is people either get into the wrong areas, answering the wrong questions, or stall just because they're afraid. So here's 3 prompts I'm going to show you right now. These are, let me do these ones, make sure I'm in the right place. There we go. So I'm going to put these prompts below so that you have them. And really what they are, it's a simple way to make sure that you're creating the right videos for the right people. And these questions, or the content that you get out of using these prompts with ChatGPT or any AI tool, are actually going to give you the roadmap or the guide to what you need to create. And I'm going to show you a real simple way to create it after this. So let's just go through them so you can see what they're about and how they kind of fit into things here. So the first thing is you want to use ChatGPT to do something called a topical authority map, which I covered in some other videos. This is just kind of a high-level view at it, and topical authority maps usually came from doing SEO optimization on your business or your WordPress site or your content. But they're great for creating online videos, because parts of that topical authority map, or knowing what you're an expert in, is actually understanding the questions that the people that you're trying to serve have. So what these prompts do is they give you a list of 50 questions, 100 questions, whatever that you want. And it gives you a list of questions that the people that you think you are trying to help will have. So you can take a look at them and say, first of all, are these ones that I can answer based on my experience? And more importantly, are they the right questions? Or is it the market that is asking these questions are the ones that I should be? Because when you're creating your online courses, your online tutorials, when you're starting out, you're usually not exactly sure of your story. More importantly, how to actually go and share your story. It's one thing to have the experience, but if you don't have a way to explain what it is that happened to you or how it happened to you, if you don't have that kind of fine-tuned yet, it can be really scary to get started because you don't know how to explain yourself. You may not have an analogy or a metaphor that is easily applied to creating some recorded content. So you're not sure how to do it. The other thing is you're usually overwhelmed with content. I know I was when I started. I can do these videos daily just because I got so much stuff in my head. And when you're creating the course, a lot of times when people get started, the first thing they do is they're overwhelmed, and they never start because they've got too much disorganized information that they want to get out to everyone. Not only that, it's just the technology of getting started. I don't want to be a tech guru. I don't want to learn all of this stuff. I just need something simple to start getting this content out. So these prompts are going to answer the questions that give you the questions that people that you're trying to help are answering. So here's just some simple ones just to get started. Simple prompt, I did 3 versions: simple, intermediate, and complex. So it's generate a list of 50 common questions your target audience asks about. So all you need to do is put your topic that you're in, ranked in order of importance for each question, provide a brief explanation of why this question is important to your audience, and what problems it needs or addresses. So this is just going to give you a list of 50 questions, which one's most important to the people that you think you're helping, based on the topic that you have an interest or passion in. There's an intermediate one, just upsells it a little bit, and then the complex one is create a comprehensive list of 50 questions your audience will ask at different stages of their learning journey in whatever niche it is. So again, you have to remember there's beginner, intermediate, and advanced. There's different steps or sections of what it is that you're trying to teach people or show people how to do. So this one actually goes over the different areas that are involved in your niche to get to some outcome that you're looking for. So organize this question by relevance to beginner, intermediate, or advanced, and explain the significance of each question, detailing what knowledge or skills the question addresses and how it supports this. So I'll put those below. You can copy those and use them just when you're playing around. The first trick is to make sure that you actually do this. Make sure that you take the time to write down and have the list of questions and clarify the list that makes sense to you, and make sure that you have it listed in front of you. And this is a super easy thing to get started, and more importantly, it does a whole bunch of clarification for what it is that you're trying to sell, what kind of course you're trying to create, and make sure that you're actually working in the right space. So let's go, I'm just going to go and we'll make sure, let me just do this. I want to make sure that, what do I want to do here? I just want to go, and I'm going to move something back here for a second. Just to, the other thing that's here is a lot of questions that I get, and one of the questions that came up for me is, what is a course? And if you don't know what a course is, I'm going to go through a couple different pieces. And I think when you're first starting out, the idea of creating a course is the wrong word to use. So we just created 50 questions, right? So how do you turn that into a course? What makes it a course that allows you to say it's a course, and more importantly, something to sell that answers the questions that those people have? And to stop getting overwhelmed, I want you to remove the word course from your vocabulary. Even though I talk about it, it's kind of accepted, but when you're first getting started, I don't think it's a good idea. And what you need to do, in my opinion, and how I did it, was that I only did videos answering the 50 questions or X number of questions that I generated. What are the answers, my specific answers to those questions? So I don't want you to start creating a course. I'm going to suggest that you just do videos answering those questions. That's it. Nothing more. You don't have anything else to worry about other than, hey, what am I going to do to actually have those problems put together, or answers to those problems that the people have? So you're going to hear some terms from time to time. You're going to hear people talk about their program. You're going to hear people talk about their course. You're going to hear people talk about a mini course. You're going to hear people talk about a lesson or a topic. And you may ever hear another one, if you're into more of a business market, you'll hear about microlearning. And I think this whole idea of courses and what a course really is and why you need these 50 questions is because there's been the YouTubeification of online courses. And what do I mean by that? If I go and I have a question right now that is something that I need answered on something that I need to know how to do or what it is, but I need an explanation, there's a couple places that most people go. They'll go to Google. If they're a little bit older, they'll start using tools like Perplexity AI and ChatGPT, the ones that I've been actually talking about over the last little while. But the second place they'll go after Google is YouTube, and they go specifically for an answer to a question, or they go to get entertained. But in many cases, it's an answer to a question. And when people go to get those particular answers to their questions, a lot of times they only want the answer to the one question. They don't want the answer to 1,700 questions. They just want a simple answer to the simple question they have so they can get on to whatever task or whatever thing that they're trying to learn how to do, or more importantly, get accomplished in the short term. So I think what's happening for the whole course industry personally is that this is changing the way that we can create courses, and more importantly, it's letting us know that there is a high demand for simple answers. And this makes some really big changes for you when you're creating an online course, and especially when you're first starting out. Because the other thing that happens is a lot of people are going, I don't know what a course to do or how to create my course. I don't know what to cover, what topics to cover. The next thing that often I run into, how do I sell them? Where do I put them after the fact? And having these understanding of what is a course, what is a tutorial, and what are the questions you're answering really allows you to get simplified on how you're going to deliver these. So, do you need a whole big community WordPress or software as a service site where you can put up all of these courses and be able to have membership sites and permissions and all this stuff? When you're looking or starting off with these simple questions, the answer is no. And this allows you or frees you up from overwhelm of all the technology that you're thinking about, that you think that you may need to have, or more importantly, that you're trying to build up before you get started. So it's easy for delivery, a lot easier if you're just answering specific questions. The other thing is you don't need a lot of technology. So that whole overwhelm of, I need a studio to create fancy videos and I need to be able to do all sorts of editing. No, not involved if you're just answering specific questions. So it's easy to distribute, easy to put or make available to all of the people that you want to help. It's just a simple system, excuse me, to get started. So here's what I'm talking about. I don't think you should create, or the secret that I want you to kind of play with and think about and try, and this is what I did when I was getting started, is I didn't work on a course. What I did is I started answering specific questions, and only that one single question. I didn't answer all of the questions. I didn't give a huge story at the beginning or fancy production. All I did is I got in front of the camera, and in my case, it was just recording the audio, and all I did is I answered the questions. That's it, just the answer to the question. So if you can get started with that and be very simple in the responses that you give based on your experience, and tell people the answer to the question from your perspective, that's all you need to do. And the question is, how many of those can you do in a day? Like, does it take 5 minutes to do one, to give an answer? Does it take 4 minutes? Is it something that's simple, that doesn't require a whole bunch of extra pieces to explain what it is that you're doing? Do you have to have fancy animations or fancy screens? If you're just doing something like a screen capture, or talking to another person, or showing something that you're doing while you're doing it, this is all stuff that can be started on a smartphone or your phone, and it's easy to record and get started. So just answer the questions. That's all you need to do. Make a list of questions, answer the questions. And where this ends up for you is, it's not going to be a course that you're creating. It's a whole bunch of micro-learning tutorials. And if you create enough of these, you're going to be able to organize them or bundle them into a mini course or a tutorial, or something that you can start charging money for if that's the goal for you. And this is the way I kind of think of it. If I look at a micro-learning, it's usually one question, simple answer. There's no fancy introduction or exit. There's no production. It's something that can be consumed from a smartphone, from a link, but it's just an answer to a question that gets people on to the next piece. So that's all I'm asking you to create. But from there, you're going to have the ability to create a tutorial, which is just a grouping of those little micro-learning videos. And you can turn those tutorials, if you have 5 to 7, you can turn that into a mini course just by bundling them together and putting them in a sequence that is appropriate to answer the bigger questions that people have in the particular sections. But don't get hung up on a course, especially when you're starting. It's not worth the time, energy, and effort to think that you have to do it. I remember in yesterday's video, I was talking about this whole idea is that people look at the beginning and the end and they forget the part in the middle. We're looking at that part in the middle. How do we create it? And these little micro learnings or little simple answers to questions are the easy way to do it. And how do you get started doing this? Here's kind of the action items I want you to either think about or consider. I'm all about live streaming right now, so I think that you should live stream your responses to those questions. And you can go and open up, I'll put the links below, just go open up a riverside.fm account. They have a free one. Go to open a StreamYard account. They have a free one. And if you are a little more advanced, you want to go and download OBS, which is for Windows, or Ecamm, which is for Mac users, the one that I use. And I want you just to get a basic understanding with Riverside or StreamYard that you have to be in front of the camera. If you have a screen or you need to show yourself on the camera, you can do that. If you have some slides or bullet points that you want to put on a slide deck that are answering or needed to answer that simple question, get in front of your computer and just record your answer to that specific question and keep it. And you can record all these. They're now little micro learnings or little micro lessons that you have that can be bundled and put in to it. And this bundling and unbundling gives you a whole bunch of revenue streams other than a course. And when you're doing this, I know it would be great to think, oh, I just want to, create online courses and get paid for my online courses. Online courses aren't the be all and end all. They're just part of a revenue stream that you can create from the knowledge and experience that you have. And doing live streams allows you not only to create the videos, but create transcriptions. And the other thing that's going to happen, you're going to get ideas, more importantly, about all the other ways that you can share your information other than a video and other in some kind of lessons like we've been talking about. And I'm thinking about things like checklists and little ebooks and transcriptions that are put into kind of cheat sheets and stuff. Very, very simple to make sure that you're creating that content that answers the questions, but more importantly, there's low overhead. You don't have the jitters of having a big course. You know the market that you're in because the little videos that you're doing, if you publish them beforehand, you're going to get some responses to them, let people know that you're actually there, you're on the mark, and it's stuff that they want about, and it's a lot easier to sell. Starting out with a big course and getting overwhelmed with that big course is scary, especially because you don't know that it's going to sell. And if you put a whole bunch of time, energy, and effort in it, you can be disappointed pretty quickly when it's not necessarily something in a format or the content isn't exactly what it needs to be for the people that you're trying to help. So here's the exercise you got to do. First of all, build that list of questions using ChatGPT and the prompts that I created. Open up a Riverside or StreamYard account. And in order, just answer the simple questions that they have or you have on the list and just keep track of them. And you're going to be amazed and delighted, I think, at how much fun it is creating them, and more importantly, how much stress is released when you're doing it and knowing that you don't have to be all fancy, you don't have to spend a lot of money, and you can do these quickly and get into the right place with the right people with the right answers. So I hope you enjoyed this little session. If you want to find out more about how all this fits in, and more importantly, how to use ChatGPT and some of these tools to go and share and grow your business, education business, I'd love for you to join the Teach Online community. You can go to trainingsites.io, which is the website, and you'll see a community tab there. It's free to join, and ask away, and I'll do my best to help you out. My name is James. It's trainingsites.io. We'll see you again tomorrow, because I do these sessions every day just because I have fun, and hopefully I'm answering the questions that you have, and I'm pretty sure that I am because I did up my topical authority map with all the questions and common questions that I run into. So take care, expect the best. We'll be back tomorrow.